Today, as I sit at my hotel, I'm about to leave for my most adventurous journey yet. I'm going to Iran, a country that has been perceived as very unwelcoming to tourists, incredibly dangerous, and you basically only hear negative portrayals about it. It's a country that's completely closed off for most of the world and has so many sanctions imposed on it that I rarely hear anything about it. But my journey and the purpose of sharing content for me is to dive deeper into these countries and get to show what they're truly like, and not just the narrative that the media shows. And today, as I head to the airport, most governments are calling on their citizens to leave Iran immediately. With tensions rising in the region and talks of war, I decided it was still time to go and check out this country. Because after all my traveling, I've learned that what the media says is usually far from the truth. Let's get this party started. Arriving at the Dubai airport and taking my flight to Bandar Abbas. But to say that I wasn't nervous would be a lie. This is by far the most nervous I've been for any journey in my life. Because growing up, all you hear is how scary and dangerous Iran is. And even though I know the news usually lies, it still is instilled in me. But the more you get out of your comfort zone and push boundaries, that's usually where you make the greatest discoveries and memories. After boarding the plane, it was time for the 55-minute flight from Dubai to Bandar Abbas in Iran, leaving the beautiful Dubai skyline behind, flying over the Gulf and landing in Iran. And after all my worries that I built up in my head about being questioned when I entered the country, it ended up being the smoothest process ever and took about 10 seconds. And with that, I was stamped into Iran, and I met some German Iranians that ended up helping me get a taxi to my hotel. And then I also met a Palestinian guy named Firas who joined my taxi and came with me to the hotel, who would become a friend for the next couple days. Well, we have officially touched down here in Iran. Had a very smooth entry into the country. Basically didn't get asked any questions and just got stamped on in. And now the first order of business is finding a SIM card so I can get internet, and also changing my money over because I need to get Toman or Rial, and then they do the prices in Toman. And these are the streets of Bandar Abbas, which is honestly a much bigger city than I expected it to be. Yep. And it's honestly pretty busy at night too because it's Ramadan, so the whole world here wakes up after iftar time basically. What?
We got the full moon.
Yeah, the moon looked absolutely beautiful. I think you can see it on the video here, but it's a full moon tonight. Got some of the Bandar Abbas traffic, and it's a little hard to find a SIM card when you don't speak the language, but a lot of hand motions will usually get you to the place that you need to go to. So we're trying to go down this street here. Supposedly it's down this street and to the right, but we'll find out.
So there's a right that we need to take at some point.
Watch out. I don't know. It was probably like over here somewhere. Oh, Wi-Fi.
Where?
Over there.
Here, mobile shop right there.
Mobile shop?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's Wi-Fi.
we might have a winner here, folks. I see a Wi-Fi sign in the distance, which might be the solution to our SIM card issue. Oh yeah, that definitely looks like a phone store.
Yeah.
Look at all this traffic here. Look at all that. So we were directed to this place right here, which is supposedly where we can change our money. I think up here. Is it up here?
Has a hotel sign.
Well, that was not a success. Apparently the exchange is closed for the night, and all the exchanges are closed. And according to the black market rate, they don't know about that. So yeah, we got to find another way to get our money. We will see what the solutions are here. This is a little Iranian mall here. Pretty modern looking.
You have?
Well, the biggest problem we've come across so far is that no one really carries cash here because everyone has basically these cards that they load all their cash onto. So all the exchanges are closed right now, so it's basically impossible for us to get any cash. But tomorrow we'll be able to go to the store and then get a card, and through that card we'll then be able to pay at all the different stores. So it's super interesting because of the high inflation rates that basically you need to get this card so that you can pay for stuff, because it's all basically tap to pay, but you need this special card, and to get that special card you need to load it up with cash. After about 2 hours, I think, we can finally pay for things. We've received a small amount of money that will hold us over until tomorrow where we get our cards. But for now we got some money where we can actually at least buy some food in the street, so that's good. Alright, we acquired some water, and the thing that was peeking out to me over here was this ice cream here across the street. I was watching a YouTube video today before I flew in, and he was talking about how good the ice cream is here, so we gotta get some for ourselves. Salam. Gotta try some of the Iranian ice cream here.
Shukran, Habib. Okay.
Got myself some Iranian ice cream.
Okay, Habib. Muhammad Arman. Nice to meet you. Muhammad.
It's very good.
Nice to meet you.
Tashakur. So Iranian ice cream review, very good. It's got like a unique taste. It's like a vanilla, no, like a saffron or something. It's like a
rose water almost.
Rose water, that is exactly what it is. It is amazing. And we paid what? 500,000? No. 5? I don't understand the money here at all.
Wow. Well.
Crazy night market. Well, after walking around a little bit to check out the first impressions here in Iran, we did manage to get a little bit of money after finding out the currency exchanges were closed and having to resort to some other ways. And then we also bought SIM cards that were basically supposed to get started after an hour, but we're probably at about an hour and a half to 2 hours now, and we still do not have internet. So things are definitely a little bit hard to figure out, and there's quite the language barrier, and the currency is incredibly confusing. I still don't really understand the prices we're paying for anything, but that'll be figured out. But overall, Bandar Abbas is really nice, and we ended up at like a huge night market that had the same type of energy as the markets that I experienced in Eid last year in Pakistan for Ramadan. So I think the busyness of these street markets right now for shopping, for clothes and such, is because of the Iranian New Year that's coming up. It's like 3 separate days, and that starts really soon, so I think people are preparing for that and going shopping. But so far, impressions are very good.
No. Yeah. Yani.
This is what it looks like counting out
So
all the money.
So this is 200. 3, 4, 5, 500. This is 450. Okay, so now we need 1 million. I think. Oh, this one is 500. We need another one of those. I think this is 500. This feels like it could be right. This is 50.
Well, I'm back at my hotel for the night here in Bandar Abbas. It is nothing fancy, just basic room, air conditioning, and then toilet there. But honestly, the first impressions of Iran is there's quite the language barrier, and it is very tough to figure things out. Luckily, I met my friend Faras, who is Palestinian, and he actually speaks Arabic, which has been a help, even though they speak like Farsi here. So they're different languages, but he's been able to communicate a little bit more and read some stuff. So we're at least able to find a SIM card place, although it's been a few hours and my SIM card still isn't working. And then we were able to change a little bit of cash with a friend, but the actual exchanges weren't working. So tomorrow we have to get cash and get these cards set up so that we can actually pay for things. And everything is just hard here. We had to set up some VPNs so we could actually access like different networks. We connected to a local shopkeeper's internet who was super friendly and helped us out, giving us the VPN situation and how to figure all that out. All the Iranians we've talked to so far have been super friendly and helpful, even though there's a language barrier. That's day one in Iran, in Bandar Abbas, in my budget little hotel room, and tomorrow it's off to Hormuz Island. Well, we were officially able to take out some money, but it is really hard actually to exchange your euros or USD into Toman here because none of the places actually carry cash, which is crazy because it's almost like a cashless society at this point. So everyone is just using these cards that they load up. So none of the banks actually have cash to give you when you want to exchange the money. So all I was able to get out was about 25 euros, which transferred to about 2.5 million Toman. So it's about 25 euros, but that's all I was able to get for now. And now I'm gonna go to the store and try and get a tourist card, which I can then load it onto so I can pay cashless. So basically the way the money works is so confusing because we're in a taxi now. We're going to the bank so I can get my tourist card, but he said it was 80 Toman. And so this bill right here says 100,000 on it. No, it says, yeah, so it's actually 1 million rial on this bill. But if you can see, the first three numbers on the 100 are shaded in. And so this actually, and the 100 here, means it's just 100 Toman. So it's very confusing the way they do that, but I think we're starting to figure it out. And this bill, this like 1 million rial or 100,000 Toman is 100 Toman, which is about €1 or about $1. And so that's what the taxi costs. And after arriving at the bank, I was informed that I was not going to be able to get this tourist card. And through my time in Iran, I would realize that I would be stuck to this cash exchange system for the entire trip. Luckily, Firas made a friend at the bank, and he was taking us to find some money to exchange on the black market here. I was able to exchange $200, which came out to about 20 million Toman. That would set me up for the next little bit of my travels before having to exchange cash again later.
That means $190.
And then our new friend even drove us all the way over to the ferry port, as our next task was getting our ferry tickets to head to the islands of Hormuz. Yeah.
Like 75 euros.
Well, I'm now at the port in Bandar Abbas, and I secured my ticket to go to Hormuz Island. It was 6.5 million rial, which is about 650 Toman, or about €6.50. And so that will be taking me now the rest of the way to Hormuz. I'm not exactly sure how long that ferry ride is, but it shouldn't be too bad. And I've already seen a ton of different like backpackers, because I have noticed that Iranians travel a ton in their own country. Like all the couch surfing accounts I was looking at had so many different couch surfers that were joining them from all around the country, because it's definitely very hard for them to leave the country, but to travel within the country, I see a lot of people doing it. So I find that really cool, and it's definitely like a hippie, outdoorsy type of folk that I'm seeing that are going to Hormuz. So I'm very excited for the hostel that I'm staying there and the experience that I'll get out there. It's time to leave the mainland of Iran and go to the islands of Hormuz and Keshem. Hormuz, where I'll be staying for the next 2 days. After an easy 1-hour journey across the Persian Gulf, we arrived on the island of Hormuz. And I was super surprised after getting off the port and walking into the entrance of the island of how touristy it was. It had a similar vibe to hopping off the boat in the south of Thailand, with all the locals asking you to rent scooters or join the tuk-tuks for rides around the island. But we walked right past all that and we headed towards where our hostel was. Welcome to Hormuz Island here in Iran.
Now also, once you get out of the port space,
Yeah, it's just all that way. And after a short 20-minute walk, we ended up at our hostel for the next 2 nights, which was the beautiful Durang House Hostel here in Hormuz. I was greeted by Amir, who's the owner here, and the whole hostel was so beautiful and cozy. We received some welcome drinks, which were amazing, and I also had my first Persian meal, which was this amazing rice and kebab thing. And they also made some fresh tea for us, too. Well, it's sunset time here in Hormuz Island in Iran. We got ourselves this scooter for about $10 a day, and the sun is starting to set. So let's take it for a rip. Who would have thought here in beautiful Iran that you can just get yourself one of these scooters for about $10 a day, have these amazing beach views, and looking out into the mountains. After doing a loop around the entire island, which takes about 30 minutes, and enjoying the beautiful sunset, I'm in awe with the island of Hormuz. Headed back to the hostel, which was now full of people, and I got to try some local snacks, including sambusa, dukh, and some baked goods, along with my addiction starting to chai. But I also wanted to go get some real dinner, so I headed back out into the Hormuz city to explore what it looks like here at night, full of street vendors and people selling their crafts and lots of food options. And this is where I stumbled across the VW Bus restaurant that would be my meals for the next couple days. And got some tea and also this like sweet date type thing that you would eat with your chai to add to the sweet. Alright, so we got here some Bandari sausage, which the kind ladies at this restaurant gave me to try. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it looks like that. It's like greasy sausage with peppers and onions, and we're gonna give it a try. That's really good. It's like a spicy sausage with so much flavor, and it's very greasy. So good. Very good.